The trade deadline is quickly approaching, and reportedly, there are a couple of pieces on the Chicago Bears roster that are generating trade interest. We're going to talk about it all and more, but first, we got to play that intro.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bears Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bears news and content.
What's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bears Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related. We got Big Kev in the building, myself, Haize. Bro, C-Dub and Bobby are out. They taking care of business. They on podcast, PTO, plus C-Dub old as hell. So you know that's what it comes down to. But this one comes from Ian Rappaport, Big Kev, is that he was talking about players and says that Nate Davis and Khalil Herbert are generating interest in trade discussions. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not surprised that Khalil Herbert is generating interest on the trade market. I don't know what anybody could want in trading for Nate Davis, but here's what I'll say. If you want him, you can have him. We can personally wrap him up and drop him off to you. How you feeling about hearing these two are generating interest out in the trade market, Kev?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It makes sense for Khalil Herbert. He's been a great Chicago Bear. Let's make no bones about it. It's just unfortunately that he just doesn't fit into Shane Waldron's system as it stands right now. They're looking for a different type of back, and he's just not it. They got Roschon for short yardage, and they got Swift for the rest of it. As far as Nate Davis is concerned, if somebody want to trade for him, more power to him, because I just don't understand why they would be interested in a dude that not only doesn't want to practice, can't stay healthy when he does get on the field. But Ryan Poles has been known to turn down a couple of trades so far this season. He turned down a trade for Khalil Herbert earlier in the offseason. Like, apparently Minnesota was interested in him. And then somebody was interested in Velus Jones. So he's going to have to pull the trigger at some point on both of these guys, especially Nate Davis.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if you can get anything back for Nate Davis, anything, you do it, because he's not used. You basically, for all intents and purposes, have taken him away from the roster. He doesn't need to be out on the field. Everybody we've brought in to play right guard has been better than Nate Davis, period. They've given more effort. They've executed better. And so I think if you can get anything for Nate Davis, that's cool. Now, when it comes to Khalil Herbert, here's the thing. It's a lot different story than Nate Davis. I still think you should only move Khalil if you get a certain level of something back, maybe something you can use to flip in another move or something like that. But I mean, with the trade deadline, it's November 5th. We're 2 weeks away from it. That's also my baby girl's birthday. So if any trades go down that day, I probably will not be doing the breaking news episodes on those. My daughter don't play about her birthday. For those that have teenage daughters, y'all know it's all about them on their birthday. That just is what it is. So, that's what I'm looking at when it comes down to it. But here's the thing. The Bears have also been rumored to recently. Max Crosby rumors have come up. We've heard things like Wyatt Teller, Brandon Sheriff on that defensive line, even Myles Garrett to a degree. Kev, as far as the activity and what it would take to get some of those caliber guys back, do you think that Ryan Poles is going to swing a move, or are we going to see something that we've seen similar from Ryan Poles before, where he does make a move and the assets he gets back in that move are basically the assets he uses to go out on the trade deadline? Do you think we could see something like that?
Yeah, I mean, if history dictates anything, Ryan Poles is definitely working the phones right now for those big names and for some different names. I'm even hearing names like Quentin Johnson out of San Diego as some wide receiver depth. So who knows what he's going to do, but I do think that he's going to talk to people about all those players that you mentioned. You're looking for interior offensive line depth, especially since the offensive line has gotten better, obviously, right? We know that they've gotten better, but you can't have too many offensive linemen. You're looking for another edge rusher, so Max Crosby, Myles Garrett. Why not take a swing at those guys? You got the extra second-round pick this season. You can utilize that. It's a little different than what they did for Chase Claypool, which they pretty much gave up basically a first-round pick, because that second-round pick was like the first pick of the second round, and you don't want to see something like that happen again. But we know that Ryan Poles is going to be busy for the trade deadline for sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's at least gonna. The one thing that you could bet on is that he's gonna be active in being on the phone. He's gonna try to make a deal. Now, how protective is he gonna be of those assets? That's a question for another day. Another person that's popped up recently, as far as in rumors, is Quentin Johnson. How do you feel about that name, Kev?
Yeah, I was just saying that Quentin Johnson, out of San Diego, he's a second year wide receiver. He had a pretty solid career in college, but he hasn't translated to the
Mhm.
NFL yet. And you know that Harbaugh is a run first coach. They're not going to be airing the ball out there anymore. Even with Justin Herbert, they're not going to be airing it out. So if you can get a young almost rookie that wants to get a fresh start, why not? I'm just not going to trade too many assets for him though, because he hasn't shown anything in what 1.5 years now.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and that would be more of a that's not really a move to kind of up the ceiling or up us as far as our playoff race because we're already deep at the wide receiver position. I would look at that more of a let's get this guy in, let's see what he can bring. Keenan Allen's a free agent. He's 6'4", 215 pounds. So maybe, he can show you something that he hasn't necessarily done in San Diego. So I'm sorry. Now the Los Angeles Chargers. My brain is still, it's still
I'm
calling.
still gonna call him San Diego. I don't care what nobody says.
Um, so I mean, I wouldn't mind that, but like if Ryan Poles is going to be active, like that's a cool move. Make no mistake about it. Like it's not anything I shit on. He's a former first round pick. I think he was
Hmm.
picked somewhere in the 20s, something like that. So cool. But me, I'm more so watching. Are you going to do something either on the offensive line or that defensive line? Because if you make a move on either one of those plays, those are playoff caliber moves. That tells me that you're making moves to try to make sure you can go further in the playoffs rather than that. Quentin Johnson's a
Bro,
future move, right? So
the defensive line that would be Super Bowl caliber move. If you add a
Max
high,
Crosby, absolutely fucking lutely.
yes,
That's a
you
super. That's a super. Yeah, that is no doubt. Like if you make a move for a Max Crosby, you just aren't even trying to win the NFC North. You're trying to win several playoff games.
yeah,
Is what you're trying to do.
that would be I mean, like that's I don't know. I don't even want to even think about that too
Could you
much.
imagine Montez Sweat, Max Crosby, and Javon Dexter on the same defensive line?
And the
Bro, that
rest,
just seems like a cheat code. That seems like
yeah,
something that you would do in Madden, bro.
yeah, and that's. I mean, I've been seeing the pundits, I've been seeing the different podcasts, and everybody's getting really excited about this. It's one of those things that I'm not getting my hopes up on. If it happens, then I'll be over the roof, to the moon excited. But I'm just keeping my expectations tempered because even with Miles Garrett, like I don't think Miles will happen though because he makes a ton of money. I'm thinking he's making 20 plus over the next 3 seasons. But at the end of the day, if they make one of those moves, then yes, they're shooting for the stars. Even with the offensive line, if you can get somebody that's going to come in and be a fixture, not just somebody that's going to be a depth piece, but somebody that's going to be a fixture, which that never really happens in season for the NFL, right?
Yeah.
Where they just trade. But you can see Tennessee or Jacksonville or Cleveland, one of these teams that's bad. New England, even well, not even because New England want to keep Drake May protected, but one of these teams that's sucking, the Bears can go ahead and snatch one of these top tier offensive linemen off of these. That's what I do in Madden, at least.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that. So, I mean, it'd be really interesting. Like that level of move, the excitement that that would generate for what the Bears' expectations are for themselves. Like, and much less if he does both of them. If he makes a move for an offensive lineman, which reportedly like a Wyatt Teller, Braden Sheriff, these are guys that could be gotten for the last time I read day 3 picks. If you flip that and then use your second rounder or whatever to try to go after a guy like Max Crosby, hey, listen, we're talking about a completely different level of standard that we have not seen for the Bears in probably a decade.
Bruh. I mean, the last time I felt like the Bears had a real chance was the double doink season. So I'm thinking that's
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, like I said, bro, if they pull something like that off, I wouldn't even go to work. I would call off work that day. Like I'm where we at? We could be on here all day talking about that because the expectations would be so astronomical, and it would be crazy for Bears fans to have to walk around with winning expectations. Because right now we have improvement expectations,
Yeah.
maybe make the playoff expectations.
Exactly. And I think too, like the one thing that the reason why Herbert, and I get why Bears fans, me, Bobby, and C Dub, we had a deep conversation on what the Bears should do with Khalil Herbert. Me and C Dub were more on the side of moving him. Bobby was more on the side of keeping him for the depth. But when you look at all the injuries around running back that have happened, hell, David Montgomery went down briefly today. He got back, he went back to the Lions. Shout out to him for doing that. But like the a guy like Khalil Herbert, for what he's able to produce, isn't usually he's fully healthy. Like He hasn't played much at all this season. So if a team is looking to acquire a running back, you're getting a running back that has little to no mileage on him at all so far this season, which could be enticing for teams for sure.
Oh, it's beyond enticing for teams. You look at what happened with Detroit today. Even though he's back out there, Montgomery went down. You look at what happens in Cleveland with Chubb not even starting the season, and then his backup just went down.
Mm-hmm.
Running back is probably the most injured position on the field. You always gonna get somebody banged up. It's always next man up. So yes, a contender is gonna be looking for. They look. Kansas City even went back to Kareem Hunt. Like, please,
That's
come on.
crazy. Yeah.
You know, Dallas need a running back bad right now. They just in bad shape at the running back position. So it's teams that's looking for starting running back, not just a depth piece, but a person that can come in and start and give them 20, 25 carries.
Yeah, I mean, and and the Bears would be crazy not to strike on that. I understand the concept of depth and why Bears fans are a little bit shaky or concerned with the Bears giving up depth at a position that gets a lot of injuries. But I tell you this: if you could take advantage of another team for a player that you're clearly not bringing back and clearly is not in your game plan, I mean, that's what smart GMs do. Like, because you could lose them for nothing this offseason. If you can use that to flip and get an asset that you can then turn around and use to get a position that you actually need, so not just depth at, you need some starters there, whether it's the offensive line or whatever else. Can't really be mad at that when it comes down to it.
But I'm kind of leaning toward Bobby though, like in terms of whether they should keep Khalil Herbert or not. Like, teams being interested in one thing, the Bears needing depth at the position is another, and I just don't see Valus he's not even, is he even traveling with the team anymore? Like,
Valus is a non-motherfucking factor.
Is he even allowed in the stadium? Like, can we get an APV out on Valus Jones Jr.? We haven't seen him since week one's dropped punt. But then you got Travis Homer, who's been injured the entire season.
Yep.
So, like, trading Khalil Herbert, I'm not sure if it makes the team better if they're just trading them for assets. Like, you need the depth at the position. And we know that if Roshan or if, God forbid, Swift goes down, Khalil Herbert can come in and be productive, regardless of what Shane Waldron is talking about, because we've seen him do it since he's been a rookie for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely a productive back. That's why it's no knock on Khalil. The only reason, in a normal circumstance for what Khalil is able to bring, I don't think most people would be talking about Khalil, but it's as far as trading him, but it's a unique circumstance in the sense that he's a free agent at the end of the year. He's already phased out of your offense, and there's no way he's coming back at the end of the season. There's just none. So even if you're giving up the depth at that case, like, it depends on the level of asset that you're getting back and what are you using that asset for, right? So, like, if you get a third round pick for Khalil because you're giving up one of your second round picks to go out and get a Max Crosby, whoever else, I'm not mad at that if you're just only getting the asset back because you gave up a big time asset. Now, you're not recouping the same level, but you're still keeping your options open. So it's the risk versus reward. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of reward because very well we could see the day after we trade Khalil Herbert, unfortunately, Swift could go down, and then we're looking stupid. It very well could happen.
And that's just what I don't want to see. But hey, like, again, we say it all the time: let Pose cook. He gonna figure something out. And they already tried to trade him. I mean, well, Minnesota was already interested in him, and he said no for a reason. And I'm thinking it's because they want to keep him as that depth piece. They're dangling him to see if they can get higher, something higher. But I don't know. I think Khalil might be
Plus,
here.
do we really want to trade him in the division?
No.
We already let one running back go away to an interdivision team in Montgomery. I don't want to, like, if you're going to trade Khalil, please don't trade him in the division, because if he cooks us, oh my God, Bears fans, bro.
Yeah, please don't. Please don't trade him in the division. I don't think they're really going to trade him. I think they're just getting feelers out there to see what it's going to look like. And that's just the reality of it.
Yeah, and I mean, and to be clear, the Bears can still swing a big move without trading Khalil Herbert. So, I mean, they have the assets to make a move if they want to make a move. But I think absolutely, I don't give a fuck what they're offering you for Nate Davis. They can be offering you a conditional fifth. Get his ass up out of here.
They could be offering him a bottle of conditioner. Get him off the team. He got to go.
And I'll be like, listen, we'll take the conditioner. Cool. We don't want no pick. No, we'll take the conditioner, but you also got to take Valus. Can you take both of them? Please take both of them. Just take both of them, because, like, they get both these bastards up out of here.
And then they let go. What was his name? Patrick, the guy on Pittsburgh now that the Bears let go at the same position.
Patrick. I know you're talking about. I'm not, yeah.
Patrick something. Anyhow, he went to Pittsburgh and he's good now,
Yeah.
and he wanted the same money that they pretty much gave Nate Davis, and it's just really a trend of when a new GM comes, they want their guys, so they let some of the guys go that could have contributed to this team. But Nate Davis got to go, man. He has to go, and it's unfortunately because when he got signed, I think all of us were pretty excited about the signing because he was pretty good in Tennessee. He
Yeah.
got over here and just decided, I don't want to practice. I don't want to be healthy. I eat too many Italian pizza puffs. It is what it is.
I think the thing is that and like it's funny because I remember a lot of Tennessee Titans fans were happy Nate Davis was gone, and at the time I'm like, look at this dude's pre-FF grades, looking at his production. Why are you guys happy he's gone? And now he's here. I'm just like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
My bad. This dude just had a crazy Algalo. Naylor just had a crazy catch
Nigga, focus.
from Minnesota.
Jesus Christ.
I am
ADHD is
focused.
a motherfucker, bro.
Hey,
That's crazy.
I've been here. I've been here.
Dennis says Trey Valus, Davis, Herbert, and Kevin Warren at this point all are not being used.
Kevin Warren's not being
Kevin
used?
Warren? What do you mean?
What he do? Kevin Warren been
Kevin
solid.
Warren? You like? Do you know who Kevin Warren is? Did you use the name right there? Kevin Warren isn't being used. The president of the Chicago Bears.
Is it because he can't get the stadium nailed down? Is that what it is? Like,
but listen, it's easy just to say trade these pieces that don't work for your team. Who want like? You got to look at the motivation. Why would a team want Valus right now? Like Ryan Poles should have traded him when he got that call in the fucking offseason, bro. You missed it.
They offered a fifth. They offered a fifth.
You should have. And this is why I love Ryan Poles, and he has done some great evaluation, make no mistake about it. But if I'm looking at the one blind spot that Ryan Poles has outside of offensive line evaluation, is that his guys, he is too slow to come off some of his guys.
No, that's a fact. It's just like what's happening with the Bulls and Patrick Williams. It's just one of them things.
But no, it's not the same with Patrick Williams.
Yeah, it's not the same because Patrick Williams was number 4 pick, and he did get his contract extension. I just don't think he should have. I don't think he showed enough to get that $90 million. But at the end of the day, as far as Valus is concerned, it's a love affair with him and the top brass that decided to draft him. You heard what happened. You heard how they talked about him. They were gushing over this dude all through Hard Knocks, gushing over him. Even in the running backs room, they were just like, yeah, we love this guy. He's amazing. He's going to bring so much dynamic speed, this, that, and the other. And
yeah,
he can't hold on to the ball.
It's always the potential over the reality, right? Like that's like if you talk to a chick and she's beautiful, right? But she ain't got no goals, no drive. She don't fuck good. She don't suck dick. Like what? You pretty and everything. You not doing shit though.
And it was all telling in the preseason when his first attempt at running back, he dropped the pitch. He dropped it. A pitch back. They just tossed it back to you and you dropped it, fam.
And I want to be clear here. Is there still a lot of potential in Valus Jones? Yeah. I mean, just looking at his raw skill level. But at some point, you can't keep closing your eyes and hope that the potential is going to come. At some point, it just ain't going to be there. It's not coming. You just got to cut your tie. If Valus does go to another team and ends up working out, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, well, fuck it. He didn't bring none of that shit here.
Joe didn't. What's going on with Tyler Scott though? Like, I want to know what's happening.
Bro, I don't know. We heard nothing but praise over Tyler Scott's chemistry with Caleb Williams all throughout training camp. Like literally, we heard more about him throughout training camp and the chemistry more than Keenan Allen, more than DJ Moore. I won't say more than Rome because we heard a lot about the chemistry with Rome too. But like for that, and then to not even use him when we had wide receivers out, I just have no idea. No idea what's going on
here. Yeah, that's true. That's just odd to me. He's not even sniffing the field.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Tyler Scott got to do, but hey, maybe that's why we hear that the Bears like. I mean, we'll see what the Bears do.
They could be just like having him learn behind Keenan Allen.
That could very well be the case. Yeah,
work on your route tree. We're expecting big things from your kid. Maybe next season or later down in the season when it get cold and people get banged up on every tackle because it's tough to get tackled in Chicago in December, Joe.
Yeah. We'll see. Can we still get a third rounder for Ian? So the way that works is Ian Cunningham goes and signs with another team as their GM. Then we do get a compensatory pick. Is it a third round compensatory pick? I'm not sure because it's based off years of service. I'm not sure. I don't want to mislead you guys there. I'll try to do some research and talk about it on the next daily episode. But we will get a compensatory pick though Ian Cunningham goes to the franchise. So there you go on that. But any last thoughts, Kev? Oh, well, last thing. So if you had to bet your money right now that by November 5th, we say that Ryan Poles made a significant deal, not a smaller deal or anything like that, a significant deal that changes the outlook on the Bears playoff picture, what percentage chance would you give it?
I'm giving it a 70% chance just based on how Ryan Poles operates. I think it's more likely to happen than not. And then all of these guys are available. There's no reason for him not to be working the phones like as we speak, especially during this bye week where you got some downtime. Make something happen. Make something shake. It doesn't even have to be like a major significant move, but I think he swung for the fences. He did it for Chase Claypool. He missed, but it is what it is. Chase Claypool at the time was thought of to be, one of the better receivers in the league, even though he was doing crazy stuff in Pittsburgh. He swung and grabbed Montez Sweat. My thing is, what does he want? Like, does he want somebody like Keenan Allen who could be a rental? Or does he want somebody that they can re-up and re-sign and have here for the long haul? I think that's pretty much what they're weighing right now in the front office.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. And just keep the expectations realistic, everyone. I know that the Max Crosby thing, hell, I even put him on the thumbnail because it would be a move in like the Montez Sweat trade was one that we haven't seen the Chicago Bears make in years. Like if he was to in back-to-back years go out and get two edges at that level in back-to-back years at the trade deadline, hey, listen, y'all gonna have to. I get the offensive line criticism, but y'all gonna have to shut the fuck up for the rest of the season at that point because
I
that'd be
mean,
crazy.
bro, the Bears at that point, quarterbacks are gonna be having like they're gonna be up all night the night before the game type stuff, like studying film and calling their grandma and asking for prayer and all type of stuff, bro. Because it's you. How do you prepare for a team that have two top tier edge rushers, plus coming from that middle with Javon Dexter and Billings and all of those guys, and then you got the rookie
and Walker still, and you still got Darrell Taylor who still gets to the quarterback line. Like we would have the deepest defensive line in the game of football.
And then we got the audacity to run the corner blitz 2 or 3 times a game as well.
Yeah, that
like that. It's just it would just be. First of all, the safeties in the corners would be they would have an uptick in pickoffs because you getting batted balls, you getting early passes, behind passes, all types of stuff, hit arms, fumbles, like. The sky's the limit. I don't even want to think about it because it would make me mad when it doesn't happen. If I keep thinking about it.
And at that point too, like, you got to think about it. Not only then would your defensive line be at that point, but then you still got Jalen Johnson who shuts down a whole side of the field. Like it's honestly, it's like pick your poison, bro. Like at that point, the offense would just need to put up at least 17 points every game. We got a great chance to win.
And the thing about it is the offense is only getting better. Like I'm not going to sit here and act like they're perfect. But Shane Waldron has shown the propensity to change. Like, and I like that in a coach because we saw how Matt Nagy was when he didn't want to change. He didn't want to adjust to what his personnel was and what they wanted to do. He wanted to do it how he wanted to do it. Whereas they went to Buddy and said, "Hey, fam, like Joe, what you doing ain't working, G. We need to have some scripted plays. We need to go out there with a game plan." And it's been working. And now they got a bye week to sit back and pay attention and scheme and get healthy and all of that. The defense gonna be back whole again. The offense is gonna be whole. Boy, this Washington game is about to be lit. It's about to be lit.
It's about to be a fun game, bro, and a fun week of speculation because for the whole next week plus, it's going to be a bunch of trade rumors and everything. Expect some breaking news episodes from us coming over the course of the week. Kev, hey, make sure y'all go and support Big Kev. Now, 2 separate channels now. You got Chicago White Sox Central and Chicago Cubs Central. I'll be popping up on Chicago White Sox Central, especially during this off-season period. I may be doing the breaking news episodes, especially when Kev's at work and stuff like that. I finally get to show, because Kev, you don't know this because you ain't in my closet, but like I actually have probably more White Sox drip than Bears drip. Not more than Bulls, but more than Bears drip. And I don't get to wear it, so y'all gonna get to start seeing the White Sox drip.
Well, we don't get to wear it with pride, but we could wear it though.
Oh, listen.
And we got NBA Central, which we've been jumping in, and then Chi-Town Sports Central. We've been working on that too.
Yeah, shout out to Chi-Town Sports Central. By the way, we got a new person who's going to be popping up over there. We still got to work out the details. I got to set up that group chat, but Quentin from Let's Talk Bulls who's in the chat. He's been called up. He's joining the team in some shape, form, or fashion. So you'll be able to see him over there. So that 3-man lineup over on Chi-Town Sports Central is going to be Big Kev, Stevo, and Quentin. Can't wait to see it. You know what I love about it, Kev? Just selfishly, I'll tell you real quick. I love that I don't have anything to do with that show because when I watch it, I don't know what the hell y'all talking about. I just love I get to enjoy it as just a spectator because it's been great content. If you're a Chicago sports fan, they cover everything over there. I'm glad that podcast has really been off to the races and rolling lately. And make sure you guys go and support Kev and Stevo and now Quentin over there because they've been killing it. So
yes, sir.
So, but you guys can follow us at Chi Bear Central. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, ChicagoBearCentral@gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-242-9336. We are the number one spot for everything Chicago Bears related, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Chi-Town up, Bear down, y'all. Peace.